me tonight is Mama K.
Hey, everybody.
Just another two-person show. We're back for Challengers, back in the theater. It's been a minute since we've done a theater review. A couple weeks or so.
Yeah.
Feels like longer, but...
Yeah, it does.
It's good to be back in the theater. How was your theater experience before we do anything else?
We did a late night show, which we don't normally do.
How late?
So, like the 9 whatever.
Okay, that's late.
9:20, 9.
Yeah.
Yeah. For us people our age, it's a late time.
Anything over the
so
7:30 mark is like, especially for a weekday, that's something.
It was a weekend, but yeah.
Well, it's still, regardless. It was, I think we had, oh man, I'm trying to think. I think there was one other guy in the theater. It was just me, and then one other guy sitting up in the corner. So
that's it?
Yep. We were waiting for our third, but she never came.
Didn't this movie just come out?
Yeah, I mean, it's been out for a week and change, probably as of this recording. As of this recording, it's been out for a week, yeah.
You and the other dude were waiting for Zendaya to show up?
I mean, just our third, whoever it would be. I mean, you can decide who's
I know.
maybe one of us was Zendaya. Maybe the
true.
Third in this world. You never know.
Third was somebody else. Yeah,
that's right. So, Challengers. This is being marketed as Luca Guadagnino's Challengers, which is interesting that they're using his name. If you don't know that name,
nobody knows him.
Well, I mean, I know because films, but like, I'm surprised they're marketing it that way to the layman because he's the guy who did Bones and All most recently, but probably most famously Call Me by Your Name. I would say that's his most famous.
Okay.
He's done other movies, but have you seen either of those?
Maybe Call Me by Your Name. No, I think I wanted to see that, but I didn't see it.
Call Me by Your Name, I gave a chance to because it did not interest. None of his movies really interest me. Like the subject matters don't look interesting, but like I was just like, people like this thing, and I watched. That was the Army Hammer and fluffy haired guy, Timothy Chalamet. And they bang the peach or whatever. And that one's just like, I was like, it's pretty, but it's boring. That's why I thought you would like it. I'm like, it's pretty and boring. That's like when Mama K likes those movies. And then the second, not his second movie, he's done a bunch of other movies, but those was this most recent couple. And then Bones and All, also Timothy Chalamet and I don't remember the other girl's name, but that one I loved. I just saw that streaming, and that's like a 4.5 out of 5 star movies. It's so good. And like the last scene of that one like blew me away. I was like, it almost makes me want to go back and watch Call Me by Your Name because of how much I got that one. So and I had just saw that maybe a month ago before the trailers of this started coming out. Because when the trailers for this started coming out, Challengers trailers, I don't know how you felt. I was just like, this looks not what I want to see at all. This looks terrible. This is the April movie that I am going to avoid. Just the first one I think I saw, it had like Man-Eater in the trailer, and it just looked, and it was slow motions and Zendaya walking looking cool, and the two sweaty guys like, oh, which one of both of us?
Yeah.
Which one of us? But both of us? Right. I was like, oh my god. It's like that movie. I get the same feeling of the Amazon Prime movie we just watched. I was like, I don't know if I have the strength to. And then I saw the name and I was like, that guy. What's his name? That's that guy. And then like, oh, Call Me by Your Name. Okay, boring movie. Don't like that movie. And then Bones and All. You know what? Streaming on Prime. I'll give it a try. And then I watched it and I was like, oh, Bones and All is so good. So then Challengers. I was like, all right, maybe Challengers. This is what Challengers is about. Tashi, a tennis player turned coach, has transformed her husband from a mediocre player into a world-famous Grand Slam champion. To jolt him out of his recent losing streak makes him play a challenger event close to the lowest level of tournament on the Pro Tour. I guess they're just giving you that information in the summary. Tension soon run high when he finds himself standing across the net from the once promising, now burnt-out Patrick, his former best friend and Tashi's former boyfriend. Ooh, love triangle. 89% on Rotten Tomatoes with the critics, which again is what they're showing on Google now. I made that observation the other time, that it was strange that they were not showing the right thing on Google. 74% on the audience.
That's a lot of mumbling, Brennan.
I think people will understand. 7.8 IMDb, 82% Metacritic. In theaters. Gave a lot of preamble there. Did you have any more preamble before we dive into Challengers, Mama K?
Nope.
2006, high schoolers and childhood best friends Patrick Zwig and Art Donaldson. They win the boys' junior doubles title at the U.S. Open, and afterwards they meet Tashi Duncan, and she is a highly lauded young tennis prospect, so she's like a big deal. They're like, pretty big deals, but she's got banners and stuff and like deals. Like she's a big deal. They're like okay, and so we're getting this information in flashback form. By the way, the movie begins. Oh man, this is going to be tough to remember because it jumps around. It does.
It's impossible.
Oh
to
no,
remember.
it will be tough. Okay. I'm glad I started from the beginning. That's like we're following these three characters. We're following Zendaya's character Tashi, and then these other two guys. I'll give the actors plugs because I don't know these guys' names. Josh O'Connor is Patrick. Mike Feist is Art. And so the one guy is like the more successful friend. He's the one who's currently with Tashi. He's like the Patrick. He's the softer spoken one, more shy one when they first
Art.
meet.
Yeah.
Art is. You're confusing me
Art's
now.
the one that she's. Sorry, Art's the one she's married to. Patrick is the dark-haired one.
Right. Wait.
Yeah. Yes.
So no, so Tasha's with Art, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So
the blonde.
The blonde. Art's the blonde. Oh, that's helpful. Okay, that's gonna help. Art is blonde. It's so helpful that they're different hair colors. It's honestly like it's just like the skinny white guy and not the one with the facial. Well, they don't have facial hair. He has facial. No, not the. Anyway, so Art, the blonde, is the more successful one, but he's on the decline. He's older. He's lost a bit of his step, his passion. And he's kind of tired. He wants to retire after a year. This is like his last go of it is to go to these challenger events and like get his mojo back. And it's because Tashi wants this. Tashi had a really bad career-ending injury. And so after that career-ending injury, an event happens. We don't have to get into it yet, but an event happens between Art and Patrick when Patrick was seeing her originally, and now that's no longer the case, and now Art swoops in, and so, love triangle, but Art and Patrick have a thing, because, love triangle.
Is it a triangle? I'm not sure.
It is a triangle. This is one of the few examples of a movie where I think it's properly a triangle, because usually I'm so confused, I'm like, it's not a triangle. Two people want one person. In this one, it's a proper triangle. But anyway, where was I going with this? It's a love triangle with a tennis movie, and Zendaya is the best one, but she gets hurt, and she channels her frustrations through these two men, and they get pitted against each other, and they're friends, and they're gay for each other, but maybe not. Anyway, Challengers. Mama Kay, what did you think of Challengers?
Well, Challengers, I did see the previews for this several times, and the preview just makes you think that you're in for a throuple movie, that this is what it's going to be about, that this is the premise of the whole thing, and maybe you're going to find out a little bit more about that kind of world, and that's not at all what this movie is. It is, I guess,
it's not a throuple movie. No, I mean,
it's not a throuple movie. I mean,
not really
no,
at all,
it's not. No, but that's how they try to get you into. That's what you were saying.
That's the bait.
Sweaty guys on the court. That's how they try to pull you in on this movie. It's really like a power struggle. Zendaya's she's the puppet master in this whole movie. Mm-hmm. And it's hard for me to talk about this movie a little bit because things happen, but really nothing happens. Because you're watching, there's so many flashbacks, and there were times where I was very confused at what time period we were in, because it's not like you're just going from a young time period to when they're older. There's their young period, and then they're even younger, and then there's the middle period where they're in college, and then they're
I know I said
forth.
Confusing when I was describing it, but I gotta say, in the movie, I thought I followed pretty clearly when we were. I was able to because they look different. I from when they're 30 to 20 is especially the guys look way different. I thought. I was almost did they film this in a different part?
During the middle period was hard. I know what now is, and I know what when they were partners when they were teens. I know what that is, but there's 2 or 3 different things happening in the middle of that.
It says in the middle, and they're in 2009, which I guess in my head the younger parts were all a couple years apart, and then it was a 10-year jump, and I think that's what it was. But anyway, like I kind of
Yeah.
jumbled. I jumbled
So
it to like the past 3 years together. But I get what you're saying. Yeah.
But it is important to know these things because you start to find out as the movie's progressing that the thing is that she decided at the very beginning when we meet them together and they're at this party, she says that you guys are playing against each other. Whoever wins can get my number. So Patrick wins. So it could have been either of them, right? And so Patrick gets her number, and so now they become involved. So I'm very I'm kind of put out by that because of what would have happened if Art would have won. Would it have been the same story with Art in the Patrick role, or not? You know what I'm saying?
Oh, I mean, so first of all, I did not even go down that thought of like, oh, I wonder what would have happened if the roles reversed. I don't think it would have played out this way because I think it only could have played out this way because of that outcome.
I guess
because I don't think
that for granted in this
the characters
movie
wouldn't have. I don't think the characters would have behaved that way if we had flipped who won, and I think that's part of like Art not being able to beat Patrick for it is like his lack of confidence in like being able to like do what he actually able to do it. And like Patrick's got the confidence, but he's doing the thing he doesn't even actually want to do. He wants Art, but he's got to do the thing he really wants to do. And the thing that I really want to do is be the number one winner, and she can't be the number one winner anymore. Thing, so this is what she's going to be number one winner at.
Yeah, but it's a little bit messy because then we take Patrick as being the the more outgoing, the more aggressive of the two. But then when Patrick and Zendaya are dating in college, and Zendaya and Art are at the same school, they're both at Stanford doing tennis. Art plants the seed that Patrick is out, on the tennis circuit already, and that he's probably seeing other women while he's out there. In fact, he's pretty much guarantees that that's what's happening. And he's being diabolical at that point, and he's planting the seed that that's what's happening. And then that's what puts the end on their relationship. And on the heels of that is when she gets the, career-ending injury. So I don't know. That's a little messy for me.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose, but it's not messy. It's like you have to like look at the larger, like who's really at fault here. Like there's one like it's not one person at fault, but it's and it wouldn't have. I think if the match had gone the other way, like let's say Art wins and Patch doesn't, like she loses quick interest in Art pretty quickly, I would think, without the drama of being with Patrick first, and then that pitting them against each other and bringing Art's competitiveness out of them. Like she needs that. Like that's not. But
she stays with Art a long time, and that's because she's the puppet master, and she's able to,
she's able to vicariously
live her life through him.
Yeah, what's that? Remember that big bill? I like good filmmaking stuff like that. He writes the billboard. Or she's writing the billboard, and then later on we don't even know it's a billboard. She's writing an ad, and then later on we pass a billboard and see it. Like just good, just good general visual storytelling. I had a lot of that in both of his prior movies, whereas the first one I was just so bored, and then Bones and All was speaking to me, and then this one kind of in between, but like closer to Bones and All. I was really I was vibing. Were you vibing with these three people? Were you at least like invested with them as people? Like you don't want to. You didn't want any outcomes?
Invested in the story because I was interested in seeing where this was gonna land. It was pretty. I think I knew
where are we going with this?
Where it was going, but I didn't know. I wasn't sure about where it was gonna land. I didn't like any of these people. I didn't
it's
like
not about,
any of the characters.
Did you enjoy watching? I know you did. They're not like them. I would not say they're like. I probably wouldn't like to hang out with any of these three people. They're not my people. I don't. They're too like. I'm not hyper competitive people like that. I'm just not into it. Like and not especially like there's just levels. That's just crazy.
But each one of them is just
Tasha's especially.
Yeah, the ego on each of them, even though they're three different types of people, comes out. It's so strong, and that it's not anything that I'm interested in. But then they show this other side. I mean, because Art and Zendaya have a child, and thank God Zendaya's mother's there to take care of this child, because nobody's taking care of this baby. But they try to show her as as a softer side, or as a, I don't know, a modern woman who can do it all. Of course you can if you have people helping you, which they had a lot of people helping them. They were living in a hotel, and it was a pretty bougie hotel that they were living in. Yeah, I don't know. This movie just did not speak to me. The things that I can really grab onto that I enjoyed about the movie, I liked the soundtrack. I liked the cinematography was fun. I thought there was a lot of interesting takes on things, and they made tennis okay to watch, which is not the most spectacular.
I'm not a tennis guy.
To watch.
Yeah,
but it was. The match was fun to watch. How they had it was a big match at the end that's going to determine everything, right? And so they had that sort of interspersed throughout the movie, the pieces of that match. And I enjoyed a lot of it. I enjoyed the judge, the tennis judge. That person was amazing.
Oh, dude, yeah, that guy's good.
And then
him calling the technicals on the people are just like, what was it? It was like it was like language foul. What do they call it? It's so
right.
It's so yes. Tennis is funny. Where like the people playing it are fucking maniacs, but then all the people enjoying it and calling it are like, okay, well, this is a nice thing.
It's like golf people. It's like the golf people.
Strange day there at Windswept Field. Yes, very interesting. Oh fucking shit! God damn it! Verbal technical foul. Oh, I'm gonna have to watch his language there. Fucking goddamn fucking shit!
Okay, I'm taking your point away from you. So
it's just very funny. That is funny stuff. It's all that stuff's working for me. I'm frustrated that
that works for me. Yeah,
you weren't enjoying any of the because if you don't. I don't know. Because I was at least cheering for Art to get out, and for Patrick to just be admit he was gay for his friend, and just be okay. Like that's all, because Tashi's actual goal is not a real goal to get. Like she can't accept that she's not going to be the winner in the thing she won anymore. So her goals are hurtful to people that she wants. Whereas, I get the feeling that Art, we get from the beginning, he's tired. He's tired of this. He wants to get out of this. And we get exhausted. From Patrick, he's had a hard go of it, and this is fucked him up really bad. He needs to get some shit off his chest, and so that's why I really like the last It's the way they wrap it up is pretty much the best way I can imagine them wrapping it up, because there's I don't know a satisfying way to narratively end it with words. I think the feeling is much, and I get that from his other two movies too. They're kind of, and I heard this on another podcast. They're very vibe movies. You're hanging, and that's the music with this one. His other movies are not quite this frenetic, but it's just you're hanging out and you're feeling it. I like that.
Yeah. I do like that. The movie's a little long. There's a little too much talky in certain things that it doesn't work for me. The scene where they are at the party and they're down, the two of them are with Zendaya down at the fire pit or whatever, and there's a lot of talking going on, which would be fine. Yeah, that didn't work for me.
I'm enjoying it because I want to see so she's figuring them out, and he's gonna I want to see the one guy he's gonna try to show off because that's the kind of guy is, and the one who really wants her, and Zendaya knows that she's gonna ignore the one and not ignore the other. I want to see them do their social. That's not really that
hard to figure. That's the thing is, I think it gives too much credence to how much she has to figure it out. It's not that hard to figure out.
I mean, maybe it's because you're a 60-year-old woman, you've been around the block, and this is boring to you. But I'm watching this no one told me that shit. I'm watching this and figuring that out along with the characters. I did not until very recently really look at situations and be able to tell really what's going on. I just had to go on words and hope people weren't lying to me. I couldn't read anything. So so it's helpful when I have cinematic language explaining to me what's happening. So I didn't really find it obvious. I found it more engaging and ooh, what's going to happen next? I want to see these characters tete-to-tete.
Maybe it's because we as an audience were privy to the boy characters, and how they act prior to their meeting her. You know, I mean, we already knew that what they were all about and how they fit.
We
into
knew their
each other's
dynamic
narrative.
to each other. Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, maybe that's a piece of it. I don't know. It just there were parts of it that just really dragged for me, and that it felt like it was just a little bit too long. Did you ever see Y tu mamá también?
I've tried to start it twice, and I can't.
Okay.
I get the Lord of the Rings problem. I can't get through it, which is it's probably no. I can't watch it. I haven't been able to finish it.
That's how I felt. Like it gave me those like I like that movie. It gave me those vibes about like trying to. It was almost like this is much more simple than you're making it. It feels like we talked in our last podcast about dumb movies, making dumb movies for dumb movies' sake, so people say the same things over and over again so that you can easily digest it and not have to actually watch the whole thing. You can just catch parts of it and you'll still get the whole vibe. You're saying this is a vibe for this movie. It's just the same stuff over and over again, and it's not, and you're not seeing anybody particularly have like, we don't know the super crash and burn that Patrick
I just didn't know it was coming though. Like I didn't know what was gonna. I didn't like. So we see in the future they're together, and we see in the past they're meeting, and between those two moments, I don't know the in between, and I want to know the in between, and I want to know the meat, and like I don't know the details of the meat, and the details of the meat I find interesting. I don't think
we even get that though. I feel like we have a lost like 6 years between the time that Zendaya blows her knee out and we see them with a baby in a hotel room. Like the only thing we have in the middle of that is she goes to Atlanta and sleeps with Patrick.
Is that when they're in like a dorm room? I remember that scene.
This was after that. This is when they're meeting and they're having like a cocktail in this little room of a restaurant, and
that's it. Oh, that's in like present day.
That's not present. That's like a little bit. I guess no, that's not present.
That's present day.
Past.
No, it's not. That's like maybe. No, that's present. I mean, that's present day. That's like because he's there he's sleeping in his car. He's there for the tournament. That's
not the car sleeping one though. That's later.
When he's going on a date with that girl, and then Tashi's at the place. That is happening in modern day.
Not that bar. They're in a little tiny.
A different bar.
It's a back. Yeah, you don't remember then. It's not a big scene, but it is a back. It's a flashback to a time when they were in Atlanta for whatever reason, and
is it in like the Applebee's bar kind of place?
No, it's not Applebee's bar. It looks like a nice bar. It's not a bar. It's like a little restaurant. It's like a little. They're in a little alcove, and they're in the windows of. We're talking too much about this.
Oh, you're not. This is a good movie. You're wrong. This is a good. I don't understand what you're missing here. Like I fail to see what you're not like the. Did you know you knew where it was going?
It's because I don't like these characters. Did I know where it was going? Well, in what sense? I mean, I knew where it was going once you find out halfway through the movie or whatever that she's married Art, but Patrick's still in the picture because we're seeing this final match that they have to go through.
Like when she gives him the ultimatum,
is the actual very, very end. That's the only thing.
The way he chooses to end the movie.
Yeah, and it's a good surprise because I think it's brilliant.
I think it's the best choice.
I think the last minute of the movie is brilliant.
Yeah,
the rest of it's fine, but I feel like we could have got there a lot quicker than we did.
I didn't connect to Call Me by Your Name. So your take on this is kind of how I felt about Call Me by Your Name. So that's interesting. But you might. I think the thing is, I think you like that one because that one is pretty countryside. But that movie is so boring. But maybe you like. I'm thinking because he's a good. You can tell watching this. This is a guy who knows what he's doing. Yes. You can tell he's a good filmmaker.
He knows filmmaking.
Yeah. So it's interesting. Okay. All right. Well,
but I think
Bones and All is the one you got to see. That's the one it's about cannibals, and that is so. Oh my god! Like I could cry thinking about the end of that one right now.
Okay, but the problem with that is that the thing is like I'm giving you that this is a good movie in a filmmaking sense, It's just the story that I don't care about because I don't like the characters, and I don't resonate with their strife or whatever it is.
Their plight.
Yeah, I don't resonate with that. And if
you don't yearn to, what do they yearn for? Tasha, you don't yearn to be the best. You don't yearn to just get away from your abusive partner. You don't yearn to tell your best friend that you're gay for them.
I yearn for none of those things. I don't yearn to.
I mean, I think we all yearn for all. I thought that was everybody.
You thought they covered everyone with that?
Yeah, that was the 3 types of people. Isn't that what they say? The 3 types of people in the world.
Do they actually say that? Because that is entirely untrue.
No one says anything about that.
No one says anything like that.
It's the there's 2 types of people in this world, and then they do whatever the 2 types are, and it's like, but you could say that about everything. Of course,
right?
There's a billion types of people in the world. What are we talking about?
I relate more to the line judge in tennis than I do to any of the rest of them. Like, oh, you are getting a foul. You need to put something in the swear jar.
The one who encourages them to stop talking and just play within the lines. That's interesting.
Hey, just play the goddamn game. Just do what you're supposed to do, and shake hands at the end.
You sound like Nicole. Just like what? Like, just do the thing. Stop talking about it, and just I don't care about your story. Like, I don't like. It's not about you. Like, it actually is about them. That's exactly what I want to see. I want to see about these people.
Well, I don't. I don't care.
You don't care. You're like, I don't care about these people.
But that's not my typical.
It's like I can't empathize with these people. So it's like I don't care about them. It's like fuck them. Like
it's not about. I don't want to be able. That's the thing. Is like there's nothing there that I feel like I need to empathize with. Like one guy had it all and fucked it all away. The other person also had it all.
No, that's wrong. I don't, because that's why I think you're. That's messing with your enjoyment. Is that you go in with like, these are people I can't like anyway. So like, why don't tell me to empathize with someone I know is a piece of shit. Is what it sounds like.
I mean, I can sympathize with them, but I can't empathize with them. Empathy means that I have to have walked in their shoes or been able to have the position to walk in their shoes, and I don't.
I thought it was the other way around. I thought sympathy is when you have.
Sympathy is when you have no sympathy. Is empathy?
No, you got it backwards. Empathy is when you have it for someone, even though you can't experience it. Sympathy is what you have when you're like, oh, I sympathize with you. We share this. I have had this experience. I think you're backwards, dude.
I think you're backwards, dude. This is interesting.
No, wait, empathy.
Help us out,
Nicole. I'm away from the microphone. All right, we're just padding the runtime now. Nicole, the empathy or sympathy? What's the difference?
Sympathy is when I had an experience. Empathy is when I haven't, but I understand why someone's feeling that way.
Did you hear that? No.
No, but what
sympathy is you share the experience. Empathy is you understand what they feel that way. That's what I said.
That's what I said. That's
what I said.
No.
Oh my god, we literally have the tape, so it's easy. We can actually literally go back and tell. And I'm sure that's what I said.
You can't empathize with. You can't empathy. You have to have a connection. Sympathy.
No, empathy. You don't have to. No, empathy. You don't have a connection. Sympathy. You do. Sympathy. You do have a connection. Yes. And that's what Nicole just said. And that's for. Why are we even doing this? I can literally look it up. I'm going to. I could
this
literally
is
look
dictionary. I'm
gonna do. Have you used ChatGPT much?
No. I mean, a little bit for work.
It's pretty
My boss
great.
uses it all the time.
Sympathy. I'm just going to type sympathy versus empathy, and then it'll answer the question.
It'll give us
sympathy is feeling compassion or pity for someone's situation, while empathy is understanding and sharing the feelings of another person. Oh wow, you're right. Sympathy is more about acknowledging someone's pain, while empathy involves putting yourself.
Empathy, you have to have a
sympathy
connection.
is more about acknowledging something, and empathy is putting yourself in your. I might have misunderstood both actually. Sympathy is more. So, hold on. Sympathy is feeling compassion or pity for someone's situation. Empathy is understanding. Sympathy is more. I gotta take this offline. I gotta think about this because I think what I'm thinking of is like a third thing that isn't on here. Like I don't think I gotta write it all down. No, but it's not exactly either. Like, what's the thing where like, oh, that happened to me? Oh, wait, sympathy.
Well, like what shared? Are you talking about shared experience?
Yeah, maybe shared experience, like, because, like, empathy, I always thought, like, I'm putting myself in your shoes because I'm not in your shoes, because, like you empathize with someone that you can't be in their shoes, opposite. But you put, no, but
empathy is you have shared experience. Sympathy is I can understand why you feel that way. I don't know what that feels like, but I can understand why you feel that way.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm thinking of something else then.
Let me put whatever. How about if I put it in a different way? I don't feel like I have a direct connection. I think part of it has to do with.
But don't you feel like these people can feel pain too, and that it's and that they deserve your, like, forgiveness and love too? I guess. Don't you feel like because they're pretty and rich and good at things that you have to be mean to them? Why? I hate that. I don't like. That's the worst of us.
I don't feel like I have to be mean to them, but I also feel like I don't have to kiss their ass. I mean,
no, you don't have to kiss their ass, but you have to acknowledge that they feel pain. They feel pain, and that they're human, and that they hurt just as badly as you. And just because they have things easier for them, that their life is not better than yours in that way. So you have to care about them just like you would care about anyone else.
No, I don't. Because I don't have to.
I'm sure.
No,
I'm teaching you right now.
You take the ultimate. Who's the ultimate character in this movie that you don't that you can't? I don't want to use sympathize anymore. That you can't relate to. That you can't, or that is who's the villain in this?
Tashi's the most villainous, but she's also hurt. Like we don't really, unfortunately, get to her character. Yeah, but you can't take your
hurt out for 10 years on somebody else. It's like saying that.
No, that's why she's the most. That's why she's the most villainous. But, like, if you are just saying, like, at a certain point you've done so much and all we can do is blame, then you've given up on a solution. And I don't believe in that. I am a solution-oriented person, and you need to find solutions. And the solution is either forgiveness or disconnect or no contact. There's no other solution. There's no revenge.
Her solution is to make people's lives miserable.
That's not her solution. That's her pathology of her. Like, it's a constant problem.
Yes, you're right about that. But that doesn't. I mean, that doesn't even.
Like, she can't get better.
How does
that's
that
why
ever make somebody happy? Like, how does that make her happy? How does that make her a happy?
It doesn't. She's the one at the end who's angry, and she yells, "Come on!" while the two guys hug because they figured their issues out and she didn't. And that's, like, it's satisfying but tragic. Like, I feel I don't like it makes me sad. Like, those two. I'm so glad that Art and oh God, what's his fucking name? Patrick,
yeah.
Just, and it's told well storytelling wise. Like, we see it happen as the match go. Like, like, she told you to fucking throw the mat. Like, and like, oh, like, she told you I wanted to retire. Like, they know what she was doing, and then they like, I forgive you. Like, I feel that. And then Tashi's just mad that, like, she can't get her way, and because she is the most villainous, she is, in quotes, the loser. But again, I don't hate Tashi. I think she's an interesting character. I feel bad for her. I feel bad for her because she has this competitive drive because of such a thing missing inside of her. So, like, it sucks.
I have a different take on the ending.
Oh, okay.
I have a different take on the ending because I feel like she's known all along that they like each other, that they have feelings for each other that are beyond friendship. And so, I mean, we see that at the beginning of the movie, and she's the one who pushes that boundary. And then at the end of the movie, it finally happens, and she actually wins at the end of the movie because it finally happens.
You think she wanted them to, that was her goal?
I don't know if that was her ultimate goal. I mean, her ultimate goal is that she wanted to keep on living vicariously through
I can't get the read. I can't get the reading that, like, she's the come on at the end. I do not read it all as positive at all. It's like a scream of anguish. I do not see it as like that's what I wanted. Like, I don't know. Like,
I see it as a come on, finally kind of thing.
No, like a come on, like, fucking fight each other. Like, why are you like?
Oh no, I don't.
Like,
I mean, you could. I can see where you could go that direction. I didn't. Like, I don't.
Come on, like, stop. Like, this isn't what I want. This is not the thing I wanted. Because it just, I don't. The only time I get that she likes that they're into each other is the threesome bait scene. But I thought that for her character that was only supposed to be because she likes manipulating, because that's like the type of I didn't read it as like she's into making them. If I'm maybe it's a more charitable reading. She felt like she just felt like scheming all the time. So I'm just like, she's so like the closest thing to a villain in the movie as far as like just being Machiavellian. So
yeah, but so wait, I have to ask you if you think who won the match.
I guess I didn't think about it till now.
Because
I guess. Well, I'm thinking it didn't end right there, right? Because it's some sort of.
No, it did, because they were at deuce, and whoever got the next point won the match.
Oh, I didn't see where the ball landed. There's probably a right answer. Actually, there's probably like a literally right answer if you look.
Well,
at, like,
I feel like there's
frame.
I feel like there is a right answer, and then the come on could be a totally different. It could be a third thing that we're not thinking about, which is.
But that's only if you. I don't think it's because the come on.
I think it's important.
No, I think if it was important how the match ended, we would have seen how the match ended. Like I like it's like American Fiction when he ended ambiguously, and then they were like, no one's gonna like that, and then they shot like 3 different endings, and that was like the comedy of it. This is the artsy ambiguous ending, but I think there's a point. Is like the point is like they got over their thing, and she like they broke free of her thing, I think is what this is supposed to be. And it's, I don't think it's supposed to be perfect characters and like clean good guy bad guy, but just more of a
yeah, I don't think
intense hurt people. This is intense hurt, and it's just high tier, high stakes, high energy. And they're hot young people. Come on.
Okay.
I don't know. That's the selling point.
I mean, I prefer to think of my more charitable way, because then I like the characters even less if it's not that. So.
I think the characters are hurt bad people and they behave poorly, but I don't think that means just because they've had nice lives that they're excluded. I think that is a failing of people. That is not a good way to be. We should still be kind to people who have superficially better lives than us.
Well,
even if they're not kind first, we should do it first. No, we should take the initiative and be the bigger person. We should. It's true. It would make us feel better. It might even make some of them change their behavior and feel and make people not think that they hate them so much. And that I'm telling you,
that's a great take, but it's not very realistic for most people.
It might not work, but there's the alternative is not trying that, and I can't do that. I just can't do that.
These are fictional characters, though, Brennan. So we can treat them.
But they represent. They represent something.
Yeah, but what they represent. I mean, do you feel? I guess you probably do. You feel.
I do. I feel like that. I feel bad for them. I feel bad for. I feel.
Do you feel bad when when they have like the Tom Brady roast? Did you feel bad about that?
I want to watch that actually, but I've seen some clips on TikTok. It looks good. Like we haven't dipped decked into Netflix. We were talking about doing it this past weekend, and we just didn't get around to it because we have other things going on.
Okay.
But no,
maybe we could review that. That would be amazing.
We could just do a Netflix, I could do a Tom Brady roast review. I don't know.
I haven't watched it yet, but the things that I've seen are the same.
There are some funny clips.
Funny clips, and also there's a pretty good roast of Kim Kardashian, which is kind of like out of...
Roasts are good. Out
of left field.
I love Jeff Ross. If you ever hear like talks with him too, he seems like off camera too. He's like one of the... Like, he's always trying to make people feel welcome. Like, because sometimes you get people in those roasts... Jeff Ross, he's one of the main Ross, roasters.
He's the only one that this is all he does now. Like,
yeah, this is his primary.
Does he even do stand up anymore?
He's had shows and stuff, but like he's just like that's what he's known for. But like if you ever hear him like off mic, he seems like just like such a good like. He understands it's a performance and like you have to be me and that's the joke, but like these are also people and like he's great at like aftercare basically, like making sure these people
right.
Because like some people like I want to do a roast, like I want to get roasted, like that'll be fun, and then they get fucking annihilated. And then, like,
yeah, you know what you're setting yourself up for,
and that's why like he's so like yeah. Anyway, challengers. Do you recommend this movie, Mama K?
Yeah, I don't think I can recommend this movie.
I tried. I really did. I tried to talk you into it because I think
I know it just took, it was too long. There was too long for me. Good filmmaking. I mean, I guess if that would be the only piece that I would say like this works for me. The filmmaking works. The soundtrack works. The
Soundtrack's
storyline.
great.
Yeah, the soundtrack is great.
I got Run Lola Run flashbacks. Not that it's that level, but like it's that like frenetic, just like
Not not for the extended period of time like Run Lola Run. That was just,
no, Run Lola Run's like a top 50 movie of all time. So that's like
my heartbeat is like 180 beats a minute when I'm watching.
Run Lola Run's like a groundbreaking movie. That if any people who are like YouTube generation people and hasn't seen Run Lola Run, like that's like OG shit. That's like understanding where
that's a must.
That's like 20 years, 30 years ahead of its time kind of movie. So yeah, Run Lola Run.
Yeah.
Oh, so good.
I recommend that movie. I recommend Run Lola Run.
Yeah,
but it's a soft not recommend just because I did like the filmmaking and soundtrack so much.
Try Bones and All. Or honestly, you might like the one that I didn't like, the Call Me by Your Name. That might be the one that speaks to you. Because once you click with this guy, it works. Like, because when I was, but I'm telling you, man, once you
things
click
are better,
with, when you pick up what he's putting down, you are into it. But and I was kind of in the middle, just in comparison to the other two. But it's solid for me. It's solid. It's like a 4 out of 5 for me. It's the complaints are much more minor, but I'm into it. I'm into Luca's shit. So. A recommend and a soft no from us, and we've got hopefully we're going to come back into theaters end of April, end of May. Year's almost half over.
It's flying, man.
Life's almost half over. If you have things to recommend to us, Films with the Women in My Life on Facebook. Reach out to me on Instagram. I'm Brennan_podhost, and you can email the show with questions, suggestions, all that crap. filmswiththewomen@gmail.com. All right, okay. Thanks for indulging me on Challengers.
With all the empathy I have.
Yeah, that's right. That was very, very nice of you to go an extra 10. So until next time, this is Brennan signing off, saying thanks for listening and enjoy your movies.
Thanks for listening to Films with the Women in My Life. If you enjoyed being a listener in our life, please rate and subscribe on Apple Podcasts or on your favorite podcast app. Keep up with the latest from the show on Instagram at Brennan_podhost, on Facebook at Films with the Women in My Life, and on Twitter at FilmsWomenPod. Finally, you can email the show with questions and suggestions at filmswiththewomen@gmail.com. Original music for the show was created by Ian Burke and Chris Iwanek. Original artwork created by Nicole D'Alessio. This show is produced by Brennan Snyder. Thank you again for listening and enjoy your movies.